Okay, in the name of God, thank you for coming. This is, as is announced, our 5th session. And now we are embarking on the lofty issue of love. Actually, so far we have postponed the issue of love, and we have made some arrangements and some pretext in order to take us to the idea of love, which is the biggest one in Masnavi. As you remember, I remember in my first session that Masnavi is the book of love, and for him, i.e. for the Rumi, love was the main concept that he learned. He took it from Shams, his master and his mentor. And his mysticism before meeting Shams was mysticism of fear. But then, of course, it changed into the mysticism of love. By far, Rumi is the prophet of love in the whole territory of Persian and Arabic literature, and according to the testimony of some of the literary men of the West, not only in Persian and Arabic but in the whole world literature. Indeed, love not only is his main concept through which he explains the world, man, history, God and everything, but it is his main teacher. And as I alluded to in the past session, for him not only God is love, but love is God as well. So the importance of the idea becomes clearer when we go on, when we move on in this lecture. The distinction or the polarity of love and intellect is very telling, and that's why I have chosen to talk about this particular polarity between love and the intellect or the reason or rationality. Of course, there are a number of things to be said about love, especially divine love according to Rumi, but this particular distinction is more significant and can teach us and tell us a lot about Rumi's school and his grand world view. Like other mystics, Rumi does not bother about defining things. This is the business of philosophers and logicians. When they talk about love, about God, about history, about man, about theology, everything, they have to start with giving a precise definition of the concept they are going to talk about, and then move on into arguments and counter-arguments and evidence and counter-evidence, suppositions, certainties, and the ideas of the scholars and so on and so forth. But Rumi's style is not like that, nor for that matter the style of any other contemplative or mystic. He just pours out his own personal experience about love, about any other thing that he's about to discuss. So Rumi's materials, like all other mystics, are very personal, very individual. So when you listen to him, you are really listening to him, himself, and you are not, of course, you should not go about in order to see what he has borrowed from others and what is specifically his and so on. These are, of course, scholarship that sometimes are being done, but in Rumi's case, one has to have an ear in order to see, to hear his own personal voice. Only in one place, I would say, he gives a very cursory definition of love, and that is not a definition per se in a logical sense of the word. Nevertheless, it helps us, it can tell us something about what really Rumi thought of love. This is the more important, because we are now living in an age, we are living in, I would say, in a country in which the word love is perhaps the most frequently used word. Therefore, in order to get rid of the confusion, we better listen to Rumi, what he thinks of love, of divine love, and then go on explaining the characteristics and the attributes of love. I just read you a few lines from the introduction he wrote to the second book of Mathematics. There actually tells us something which might enlighten us and gives us a clue as to what is to be considered as a love in Rumi's point of view. In one anecdote he said, someone asked me, by Rumi, what is love? I answered, thou wilt know when thou becomest lost in me, or thou becomest like me. The Persian is, گفتم که شما شبیه بدانی. I told him, when you become like me, you will understand what is love. Therefore, love is an experience, and it is not to be defined in words. And we can just point out to the love, and especially through lovers, through becoming familiar with lovers, you will know what love is, not through words, not through philosophical definitions, as I said. So the best way in order to have an experience is to sit with those who have such an experience, to get familiar with them, to make company with them, and to share their experience, so to speak. That will tell you what love is. But he goes on, and he does not stop here, and say love is uncalculated affection. Well, Nicholson's translation is uncalculated. Perhaps he should have said, better have said uncalculable affection. Even as the word affection, I am somehow doubtful about it. Maybe we could replace it with kindness or something, because after all, love, as Rumi is about to tell us, is one of the attributes of God. And the word affection is not to be used with regards to God. So he is not subject to any affection. Affection is a human matter, a human thing, and is not to be used in the case of God and divine attributes. But anyway, perhaps we better translate it. The Persian is mahabbat bi hisab, boundless kindness, infinite kindness, uncalculable kindness, or uncalculated affection, according to Rumi. What I would like to emphasize is the uncalculability, the boundlessness, the infiniteness. That is the more important point of this definition, or so-called definition. The infinity of the affection, the boundlessness of the affection or the kindness is the main characteristic of love. Therefore, it is not to be used, it is not to be applied to any kind of affection. So the boundlessness is a necessary element here. And because of the boundlessness, necessarily it is only one of the attributes of God, because boundlessness and infinity is only God's. All other things are bounded, as you know, are finite, are calculable, or measurable, if you like, and so on and so forth. When you come to God and His attributes and His actions, then the infinity and the boundlessness and the immeasurability and so on, or even incommensurability come in. So then, for that reason, Rumi goes on, it has been said to be in reality the attribute of God. So that is the logical consequence of the definition. Since it is incalculable, since it is infinite, so it is in reality the attribute of God. God is the supreme and the main lover. And love is main attribute because it is infinite. Affection, though as I said, the word affection may not be very appropriate here. For that reason, it has been said to be in reality the attribute of God, and unreal.